Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Blues Feed for another episode centering around Chelsea Football Club. You will all notice, especially those who are watching, that I don't have Danny beside me today, but I do have our good friend, Mr. Jay McIntosh, with me. Jay, how are you, my friend?
I'm very good indeed, mate. I was complaining about being busy, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. Yeah, I'm enjoying myself. I'm not at all bothered about the Carabao result, which I know people are. I'm not at all. But yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. A little bit of man flu, but it's worse when I'm at
Mm.
home. When I have to go and do something, I'll make out it's a little bit worse than what it is. But don't we all? Before we get deeper into the episode, I just want to remind everyone that we are approaching 1,000 subscribers now, and once we get there, we'll be giving away a Chelsea shirt from this season. So make sure you like and comment and subscribe, and we will do that once we hit 1,000. So, Joe, you touched on it there with Carabao. We'll skirt over it briefly. I don't really want to deep dive into it too much, to be honest. Let's just get over it. But it wasn't the best performance, but a point away in a quite a tough place to go, and they've had a couple of results as well so far in the league phase. What's your overriding emotion other than not really caring too much about the end result?
Mate, it's a bloody awful place to go. As in,
Mm.
like, not aesthetically, Baku's nice, but like, um, because you know me well. I've been traveling between the UK and China for most of the last 6 months or so, and to have to travel midweek to Baku to play a game of football, your body clock is crazy, your sleep won't be the same, your routine will be different. Like I say, midweek that far away. And let's not forget, Karabag, in fairness to them, are doing what people expect Turkey to do every international tournament. And they're being a bit of a dark horse. I mean, they've got the same amount of points as Chelsea and Dortmund and Barca, I think. I could be wrong, I might double check. But all 7 points. So Karabag have actually, in fairness to Karabag, they have actually been remarkably impressive for the size of the club they are. So I think first and foremost is credit to them because they didn't play giving Chelsea respect and things we've all seen before. And the key metrics for me was when you look a little under the hood at the game, they ran more. Genuinely, they completed more sprints, they sprinted further distance, they covered more kilometers, and their players individually, on average, covered a further distance too. So they just simply outran Chelsea around the pitch, which you'd expect. Home turf, comfortable for them. Chelsea lethargic, tired, the things you would expect from having to get a flight to Azerbaijan midweek to play a football game to come back and then play Wolves on the weekend. I'm happy Garnacho got his goal. I think Estevao looked good. Massive shame about Lavia, as those that are watching can see his name sort of popped up on the banner along the bottom, who we'll talk about, I guess, in a second. Still the same concerns in terms of, I don't think the central defensive partnership is consistent enough, and I think that keeps getting rotated and it's causing problems. And I do actually, despite the expected goals being in Karabag's favour, I genuinely think if you watched the full 90 minutes, Chelsea had more than ample opportunity to win that game. And I think actually, if you were playing that game as a football player, I think you would have rather Chelsea's chances than chances to win the game. But I'm not super fast. Happy for Estevao, happy for Garnacho. Shame about Lavia. It's not a loss; it's a draw. It's so far away. And the Premier League for me is the most important thing. I think qualifying for a Champions League place again is more important than getting far in the Champions League this time. I think it's nice for players to get a bit of a taste, a bit of a feel. Even people like Buonanotte, right, getting minutes in a game like this, touching European football. I think it helps for the wider sort of Chelsea project, which everybody hates sort of talking about, and Strasbourg fans hate it. But even then, like, they're performing well in Europe, and Ciso getting his first goal in Europe yesterday as well for Strasbourg. And it's sort of for the Chelsea project, I think, to give as many players within those confines a sort of touch of European football's sort of okay. And Karabag's a place where you can do that a little bit. So, yeah, I'm not really that fussed about it, man. I think the Lavia injury is the biggest shame.
Yeah, I agree. I don't disagree with anything you said there. I think a couple of notes that I took from it, and something that I've picked up on that you said there about the running. But I saw a stat the other day, and we're like the 17th or 18th lowest workers, if you like, in the Premier League. Our running stats are very low in comparison, and it's never a positive thing. You always want to be a hard-working team and one of the better teams. And I'm not sure exactly which metric, whether it was total distance or sprints, etc. Yeah, it's one of them things, especially when you go to a place like that you've got such a short turnaround of time. There's such a large difference in time and your body clock and things like that. It must be very difficult to adjust. And I know there'll be the old adage of, well, they're paid 100 grand a week and whatever, but realistically, you could be paid millions of pounds a week. Your body clock's your body clock, and certain things you can do. But we can't excuse. We should be winning games like that, but also you have to give Carabao credit because they're in a good position to reach the knockout phase
Oh yeah,
via the playoffs. So um,
I
they're
mean,
normally
in fairness though, let me sort of work on the fly here a little bit. In fairness, Karabag are 15th on 7 points. So that's the same amount of points as Atalanta, Dortmund, Sporting, Chelsea, Barcelona. Tottenham have 8, Gala, Liverpool, Real Madrid, Newcastle, PSG have 9. So it's only 2 points separating 16th and 5th. But actually, I think as the Champions League table begins to sort of shake its way out and sort of begin to hit that uniform level you'd expect of where teams should be, I think if Karabag were to qualify, other than Paphos, I still think they're on paper the weakest teams. They do have a tough road there, but they certainly, if they did it, it'd be amazing. And
yeah,
it
for
made this
sure. But
result make it better.
generally, before the league phase would have started, if you'd have looked at all of the teams in there, you'd have thought Karabag would be in the bottom 5 at least, wouldn't you? So the fact that after 4 games they're on 7 points is very impressive. But again, it doesn't take away Chelsea need to get their business done better in that regard. Something I do want to just dig a little bit deeper into from the game is the overall negative. It's Romeo Lavia injured again.
Yeah.
It's not ideal. Where do we go from here with Lavia now, Jay? Do you think this is sort of, because from all the reports, and there's nothing official out yet, but the bits that I've read and have heard, it's not looking good. It's going to be a multiple month absence. Where do we go with Lavia now? I know you're like me. You're a person that loves the player. Like I
Yeah.
love this player so much. I
It's a
think
good
he's
player.
so good. But overall, the best ability any footballer can have is availability, and he just doesn't have that.
No. I think unfortunately with Lavia is and it's actually Sinai spoke about it on the podcast we do, about Lavia and about Reece James and how it looked like they might never reach that peak that they were meant to get to, and actually now Reece has sort of found that fitness, and can Lavia do it? And Reece got the time because he's young and talented, and Lavia's young and talented too. But I think they're young and talented in a different way. Reece is obviously Chelsea through and through, Chelsea captain, but also Reece peaked pre-injury as well. Whereas Lavia's never hit the peak we know that he can hit prior to the injury. The injuries have come, before the peak in his performance. And I think that's the biggest concern. And for me now, I think actually as Chelsea, we can't rely on the fact that Lavia is going to be part of the future of the team based on the current circumstances. I don't think that means we sell the player. I think it means that you then have to have a sort of rigorous process of, okay, here is a 3 to 5 year roadmap for this guy. He's going to need, if he's going to be out again, he needs to go on loan just to get minutes. Like, it's not even about his ability, because he can go on loan anywhere, but he just needs it for minutes. And he won't get the minutes he will need
The
after.
issue is though, I think when he starts getting minutes is when he breaks down, because he started I think 4 of our last 6 games.
But
And
there are ways and means that you can play minutes in an albeit slightly different way. Like, you
yeah,
could, as Chelsea, say, well, let's see if we can get him a loan move to Spain, where he's not caught in the physicality of the central midfield of the Premier League and actually has a little bit more time to play technical football, which is what he's actually best at. Or, can we find a club that system basically works around that sort of deep midfielder, sort of breaking the line presser, and can we slot him in there, and can we provide that for him? Even Strasbourg, I mean, just for minutes alone, No one who goes there is having a bad time at Strasbourg, in fairness. But I think he's going to need that loan unless Chelsea decide to cut their ties with him. And unfortunately for Lavia, and actually I think Chelsea fans kind of sometimes need to realize it, sometimes need to sort of remember that, like there's only sort of one or two players that are completely irreplaceable per generation, per position, maybe. Like Lavia is not one of those. He is outrageously naturally talented. But I said to Sai, he kind of is like Abu Dhabi. Remember the Arsenal midfielder that
Yeah,
was like,
yeah,
you ask any Arsenal fan about Abu Dhabi and they'll talk to you like he's Pogba. And Lavia's got a bit, and Abu Dhabi was amazing, by the way, but Lavia's
yeah.
got a
He
bit of
was.
that where it's like, if you know, you know. And when you know, you think, God, this guy literally looks like he could play in any midfield in the world and it'd be no drama. But he's not available. And, I think I got to the point with Fofana where I didn't see the vision with Fofana anymore because he was so injury prone. I love the player. I think he's wonderful, but I didn't see us like, why would we not get a new centre back, even though he's hit, the sort of general discourse. And I think with Lavia, we need to sort of go, okay, well, he's probably not going to be a mainstay in the first team for the next year and a half to 2 seasons. So what's the plan? Do we want to plan to sell? Do we want to plan to keep? What can we do now to make sure his rehab's the best? And I actually think also, so I've been rabbiting on, I think Chelsea has actually done quite well since Maresca's been into the club in flipping around how bad injuries have been for players.
Well, look at Reece, prime example.
Reece is a great, but Pedro Neto is a good example too.
Yeah, true. Very true.
There are quite a few examples you can actually pull out in the team. But yeah, I think for Lavia, it's super tough for him personally. I don't think it's as big a loss to Chelsea as certain fans think currently, because he's never finished a full 90 game for Chelsea in 2 years. Never. He's never played full 90 minutes for Chelsea.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're dependent on him anyway. And
No.
actually, we have starting midfielders also. So, yeah,
Well, where do we go from here from a squad perspective then? Because you're right, it's either going to be a long-term plan of this is how we get this player fit, which is either going to mean a loan or even potentially selling. That means there's a hole in midfield either which way we go with Lavia. How do we fill it? Who do we fill it with?
well,
'Cause I've got a few options in my mind, um, but I'm not 100% certain that I know what profile we need to replace him with, because obviously you've got the likes of Andre Santos, who's sort of multifaceted as a midfielder. He can play as an attacking midfielder, he can play deep. Similar with Enzo Fernandez, although personally I prefer him deep. And then you've got Caicedo, who is incredible. And then obviously you've got Dario Asugo, who is Caicedo's little brother. What do we do with this position? Because it's something that's going to need fulfilling. Because if we get another injury in midfield, we are very, very scarce.
mate, do you know what? Like, I don't think it's that hard. I just don't think it's that difficult of a
I think there's
proposition.
too many options, to be honest. I've got 3 or 4 in my head that are really serious options for me. I'm
Go
very
on then.
interested because well, I'm going to go to you first because
No, absolutely not.
okay.
I'd love to hear
So
these 4.
my list of 4: Adam
Yeah,
Wharton,
yeah,
fantastic footballer.
yeah. He's class. Yeah, yeah,
I think the next one, I think he's going to be far too pricey for what we'll want to pay, given the rumours around him in a minute, is Elliot Anderson.
yeah.
I really, really like Elliot Anderson, but again, I think he's going to be a little bit too pricey.
Yeah.
You've got Carlos Baleba, but is he too sort of defensive
Too
minded for
expensive.
what we require, and also the value to him? And then number 4, who did I have done? One sec, let me get my list back up. You go for a second. I can't. Where's my list gone? I was doing some research on this yesterday, and now I forgot who my 4th person was.
Okay.
But you go. Who would you replace him with?
Yeah. So I sort of, knowing that we were going to talk about Lavia, I anticipated that you were going to ask me who I would choose to replace Lavia with, or Lavia's presence in the squad for now. So Chelsea have Santos, Caicedo, Enzo, and Asugo, right? So it's not like it's not like everything's majorly difficult. And like again, as Chelsea fans, it's easy to forget sometimes. Like most clubs in the world would love to have Santos or Asugo in their squad and try and nurture that talent. Like that's okay. I will also say I don't have a brilliant knowledge of Chelsea's sort of youth academy. I've got a fairly strong knowledge, but not a brilliant knowledge. Like I don't watch the under 21s games all the times or whatever. But like this is also the opportunity because Lavia is not a starter. He could be a starter, but Andre Santos can start. He can play 6, 8, 10. Asugo can start. Otherwise, what's the point in buying him? Like he's going to have to play some minutes. And like I said, Lavia's never completed a full 90, so it's not like we're looking for this player to play, like to fill a huge minutes gap. We're looking to sort of supplement the ability in a short term if Lavia is going to be a longer term idea. So my 2 suggestions, Luke. Firstly, could you use someone from the youth team? Reggie Walsh, different profile of player, but like he's already had a little bit of a taste. If he's going to replace Lavia's minutes, that's about 35 seconds a game. So like it's not like he's going to play loads. And is it
It's
worth
more if we
nurturing
get another injury, though, isn't it? That's my personal concern with
another injury to the
promoting again.
midfield?
Yeah, so let's say, for example,
Well,
Enzo
I have
Fernandez
this, Luke.
gets injured.
I have this.
You
So
go for it.
there's a player that's out of contract at the end of this season, and I think they're still a very high level midfielder. They are 28, so they're much older than the normal profile of the team. But I don't think Chelsea fans would complain about having a more senior leadership figure in there that I don't think would demand to start every game given the club they're going to. And this is dead rogue, so I hope people don't shout at me for this.
I got a feeling I know what you're gonna say.
Who am I going to say?
I feel like you're gonna go like Ruben Neves or
Yeah,
someone
I am.
along.
That's exactly who I'm going to say. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that actually genuinely isn't an awful shout.
No,
Uh,
I don't hate it.
Because the thing is, if he's out of contract 26, he's 28 now. He might be 29 by the time that contract runs down. I don't know when his birthday is. You only need to give him 2-3 year contract. He's just made a load of bank in Saudi, so unless he's going to re-sign there, he knows that sort of period's done. He'll want to come back to Europe. I think it's quite an exciting project Chelsea to be a part of. Neves has been captain of Porto since he's 18, captain Wolves, captain Portugal when Ronaldo doesn't play. Like he's got those leadership traits that we admire. He's prem proven. Obviously, he's been playing in Saudi, but I think he's still at the requisite level to fill that space. And whilst he's not press resistant in the way that Lavia is, Neves has a bunch of skills that are sort of align in some sort of way. So you might be able to get a sort of cut price deal if you were to go for him in January, or you could use potentially hope for youth and then hope there's no injury.
Do you know much? You're a lot more intelligent than I am, especially when it comes to the European market. Do you know much about Urian Timber's brother? Because I've seen bits and pieces of him, but I don't have enough to form an opinion on him.
No, I don't. I don't actually know much about Urian Timber's brother at all. Like,
Because I
what's
just
his
looking here, he's another one that is out of contract at the end of the season. Quickly before we go on to him, the other player that I forgot, I don't know how I actually forgot him, was somebody that we've been linked with a lot in the last year to 6 months to a year. I'm not necessarily certain he's the right fit for Chelsea, but I just really really love the player, Kobe Mainu.
Yeah, I like the player too. Obviously,
I'm a
he's
massive
class.
fan of
Yeah.
massive fan, and he doesn't play for Man United. It's
No,
something that
he'll be.
boggles
He's
my
been
mind.
pushing to.
He wants to leave.
Yeah, he
He's
does.
got his two of his best friends in football already play for Chelsea with Garnacho and Cole Palmer. I just wonder if there's a deal to be done there. I really like the player. The question for me is, does he fit? Who is he more Enzo or is he more
No,
Caicedo?
I don't think he's. I don't think he's like either of those two.
Because for me, when he's played best for Man United, he's been the deepest midfielder on the pitch, and I just don't know where he would fit with us when you've got Asugo, you've got Caicedo, you've got Santos, you've got Fernandes. You're looking for somebody to come in and be that fifth midfielder, and like you say, replace Lavia's 3.5 minutes per season. But also at the same time, you've got the chance to bolster that midfield area, which is already probably one of our strongest areas, if not our strongest area. Full stop.
Yeah.
It's just, and also for somebody like Mainu, there's a situation there where you could potentially get a player cheaper, but be a top quality player through the door. I don't know. It's food for thought. I'm quite sad about the Lavia stuff, but that was sort of for me. I think I don't see him playing for Chelsea again in the near future. Regardless of availability, I think there's going to be a loan there more than likely.
Yeah.
I'm conscious that we've stuck on Lavia and the midfield area for a little bit too long. So let's move on to Wolves.
Well, this bit's quick and easy because Wolves aren't very good.
And they're managerless.
And they're managerless, so they're prepped to go Chelsea 2-1 away. So it's absolutely amazing for Wolves.
So Wolves are going to win 1-0 90th minute. But no, seriously, Jay, how do you see this game playing out? Give us your score prediction.
Well,
and
this
what you think
this is one of those games where so my best friend is a Wolves fan, so I keep a close eye on Wolves and I have regular conversations about Wolves. Wolves have been shocking. And Pereira's got it all completely wrong this season. He's got his lineups wrong. I don't think he's handled the team well enough. And that shows because he's got a 0% win rate and gets sacked and they have 2 points. They're currently managerless. They're going to be going away to Stamford Bridge against a Chelsea team who have got Wolves and then Burnley back-to-back, and a chance that I actually said, Luke, on the podcast I did with Sai yesterday, that the interesting thing about this weekend's fixtures, especially for Chelsea, is that Chelsea have Wolves at home, which is the most preferable game you can have in the Premier League at this point because Wolves are the weakest team. At the same time, Tottenham have Manchester United, Arsenal go away to Sunderland, and Liverpool play City, as well as Brentford playing Newcastle and Villa playing Bournemouth. So the teams in and around Chelsea are playing each other, whereas Chelsea are at home against the team with 2 points. So normally I'm a bit like hedge my bets and try, but I have an expectation of Chelsea winning. It's a non-negotiable game to win. Genuinely, Wolves.
Is that not when you fear Chelsea the most, though? Because for me, these are the games that I go into with a lack of confidence.
If we were going away, I would be more bothered. But because we're at home and I have a feeling we'll score early, I think it's just an expectation that this has to be a win. I'm not really. It's not like, it could be a tetchy sort of 1-0. Just Chelsea absolutely have to win this game and the next one. It's just obvious. You can't lose at home against the bottom of the table ever. That's just shocking. And Burnley, respectfully, have been better than thought, but Chelsea can't lose that game either. So I genuinely just think Chelsea should just. It's one of those ones that Chelsea always overthink and then play badly. And I agree with you, but it's just simple.
There is not one word that just come out of your mouth that I disagree with. Yet my expectation is that we win, but my pessimism is that we find a way to lose or not win.
I don't think so.
But is it not the most Chelsea thing to do? I'm obviously I hope we don't. B, I don't think we will. But all of that positivity, all of those reasons that sink towards a comfortable Chelsea win make me feel like we find a way to cock it up.
No, I'm pretty confident. Delap being back, I think is good because Wolves are just 5 at the back, and so he can occupy a couple. I think the midfield's obviously class. The defense is shaky, but Wolves just don't score, so it's not really a massive issue. Obviously, the game against them in the League Cup the Carabao Cup was a bit odd, but no, I'm not overly concerned, and I think that a lot of Chelsea players will be looking at this as an opportunity to sort of boost some stats. In fairness, I think Delap will absolutely fancy a goal in this game. I think if Garnacho starts, he'll fancy the same. I think Neto will want to perform against his old club at Stamford Bridge too. Caicedo only scores bangers, so I'm not that fussed about him. Enzo may score a penalty or whatever, which is great. So, no, I'm not. I'm honestly not that fussed. I'd be more if it was sort of. If it were Brentford versus Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, I would be a bit more like, obviously Brentford are just going to be a banana skin. But this Wolves team, respectfully to Wolves, are really poor at the moment, and and it's not really a managerial issue as much as an ownership issue and how they've been running the club so poorly. But they're a really, really poor team, and they are struggling beyond belief. So, no, I don't think they have the confidence to come to Stamford Bridge and be like, "Yeah, we'll give it to them," which normally happens. I think they're a bit too far gone. I think they got 2 points. Yeah, so I think probably 4-1 to Chelsea. 3-1 to
Wow,
Chelsea.
that I don't like an optimistic Jay. I'm used to
It's rare, isn't it?
more. You've thrown me a little bit. I won't lie. Okay, before we round it all up, then. So you're going 4-1.
Yeah.
Give me your goal scorers, man of the match, and starting lineup.
Oh fuck. Sorry, I can't Spurs. Well, Reece played in the week, didn't he, against Karabakh?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So I think Gusto might play right back. I'd imagine it'll be Sanchez in goal. But can I give my lineup, or do I think the lineup? I
No,
think.
go your lineup, mate. Go your
Well, I'd
lineup.
go Sanchez, Reece. I think it'll be Fafana and Chalobah that play. And then Cucurella left back, Caicedo, Enzo, JP is the 10. I think Neto will start on the right. I think Garnacho will start on the left. I would actually start Estevao from now on, basically permanently, but that's, it's fine that he's getting bedded in slowly. And I think Delap will be up front. I think Enzo will score a penalty. I think Delap will score. I think João Pedro will score. And I think Reece James will score.
Nice. I like that. Okay. Well, we will wrap it up there. We're going into the international break now, so 3 points is an absolute must, especially like you say with Burnley next. Let's hope Chelsea deliver and make it a more comfortable and warm feeling around the international break rather than a loss.
And also, Luke, don't forget there are rumours that Cole Palmer might be back for Burnley a little bit, so we might have some things to look forward to when the international break gets back. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, exactly. I think Sai broke the exclusive the other day that he should be back and play 20, 30 minutes off the bench against Burnley, which would be fantastic to see. So let's hope that's right, with Barcelona and Arsenal coming swiftly after the Burnley game. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. We will have some bits out for you over the international break, but then we'll be back to preview Burnley later next week. Jay, thank you very much for coming on, mate, especially at short notice. Really appreciate it. And as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.